Inside the Indianapolis Zoo with Matt Standridge.
Hello and welcome to Inside the Indianapolis Zoo. I'm 13 weather meteorologist Matt Standridge, and boy, do we have an exciting show for you today. We'll show you how a new field grant from here at the zoo is strengthening conservation efforts in Alaska with the indigenous and local communities. Plus, it's time for Christmas at the zoo. We'll show you some of the great things you can see and do with your family this year. And our featured resident this month is the Walrus. I can't wait to introduce you to my very large new friends. This is Inside the Indianapolis Zoo. One of the coolest and most unique parts about the Indianapolis Zoo is the fact that we have walruses. Only a few zoos in the country have them. And our zoo is doing something new to potentially help walruses and other Arctic sea life. I want to bring in Marine Conservation Coordinator Corley Palmer. It's great to have you. Let's talk about what the zoo is doing. You have a new field grant that you guys have just awarded. Tell me about it.
Every year, the Indianapolis Zoo supports projects around the world through their field conservation grants. And so this year, one of the major grants is going to the Alaska Community-Centered Conservation Initiative, or AC3. And it's a really forward-looking grant that brings indigenous communities and local communities really into the heart of their conservation work.
So tell me about the Alaska Sealife Center, because they will be doing some of the work that we're helping to fund.
That's correct, yes. So they are Alaska's only marine research, education, and wildlife response institution. And they are doing, with this grant, they're going to be able to launch this initiative, which will enable them to really connect with local communities who have been stewarding these lands and these waters for generations, and help have that guide their conservation work in the future.
What do you think is the beneficial part about working with some of these local communities? It's not just the center doing their own thing.
Right.
They're empowering some communities. Why is that important?
So that's really, this is really kind of transformative change that is really the future of conservation, where you're combining indigenous knowledge and local community knowledge and Western science in this, it's called two-eyed seeing, to really work towards inclusive conservation that is really grounded in their local knowledge. They've stewarded these lands, they've looked after these species for generations. Yeah, to integrate that knowledge with the Western scientific knowledge is really the transformative change that is going to be the future of conservation.
Let's dive a little bit deeper into the program itself that we're helping to fund.
Right. So this has got multiple components, and the Indianapolis Zoo will fund it for 3 years, but it's a long-term project. It's really based on relationship building, community building, working with these communities to build trust and work together to find the best solutions for conservation. And so part of the things that they will be working on are, so they'll do what they call convening, so they'll go out and talk to the communities. Alaska is big, travel is difficult. They will travel to the indigenous communities and to the local communities to speak with them, learn from them, understand what the conservation pressures are, what the needs are. They will bring them to the center to help guide their conservation work. There will be trainings for their staff so that they can understand the local cultures and what's important to them. And then they will work together to create plans for conservation and actually put those into action.
One of the coolest parts too, when you come into the zoo, you got to come through the Global Center, of course. And I love maps, and you guys got the coolest map behind you too. There are a lot of different projects, and this is another project that you guys are helping to fund. Why did you select this program?
So this is really exciting because it's, as I said, a really transformative change that's the future of conservation. And it really helps to further and really aligns beautifully with the zoo's mission, which is to protect nature and inspire people to care for our world. And this project The Global Center here is really unique. It's a partnership between Indianapolis Zoo and the International Union for Conservation of Nature Species Survival Commission. And that the IUCN SSC works on a conservation cycle. So that's everything from species assessments, planning, action, networking, and communicating. And this project is really unique because it will help with all of those aspects for multiple species up in the Arctic. So through working with these local communities and understanding the ecosystem better, we'll have better knowledge for assessments, more accurate assessments. They will be working with the local communities for really inclusive and on-the-ground conservation planning and action, and then they're really strengthening those local networks. So it's a really fantastic project that touches all parts of the conservation cycle.
What are you most excited for to come out of this project over the next few years, and long-term too?
Yeah, I think multiple things. I think long-term that it will really build relationships. It's not a project that's going kind of in and then leaving. It's a project that's going to build the foundation, and they're able to launch the project with the funding from the zoo. So this will really create the foundation of a long-term sustainable conservation action and project. And then we are hoping very much that it will see benefits to multiple Arctic species, including our walruses.
We are so excited to meet the walruses in a little bit. They're so cool. I remember as a kid, you always go into the little stadium down there and you just watch them. But I think the boat that we got two, right? I think they'll be excited to hear about this project as well. So what I love about the Indianapolis Zoo is that you can see some of the animals, and then these are some of the same species that you guys are helping out in the wild. Tell me more about how this project is in line with the whole idea behind conservation from the Indianapolis Zoo. We're not just a place where you see animals, which you can see animals, but tell me how this project aligns with that whole vision of the zoo.
The Indianapolis Zoo has a really fantastic focus on conservation. We have the Global Center where we have full-time staff who support conservation in the wild through the IUCN SSC, and then through the conservation grants we provide direct support to enable these projects to happen in the wild or around the globe and in Indiana too. I think this project is really fantastic because it is so transformative. It is really grounded in being inclusive, involving communities, and that is a really fantastic model for other conservation projects to follow.
Alaska's really far away, and the Sealife Center is really far away. Are there things that we Hoosiers can do to help the Arctic sea life, including walruses?
Right, yes, absolutely. So I know it seems really far away, but conservation is global, and anything that we can do here can make a massive impact. Obviously, anything that we can do to reduce our carbon footprint is going to be really important. So climate change is the biggest threat to many Arctic species, and just on in October this year, an update of the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species had 3 species of Arctic seal move a step closer to extinction. So that was the hooded seal, bearded seal, and the hop seal. And so one of the things that we can do is be really conscious about your seafood purchasing. Things like bycatch and unsustainable fisheries can place additional pressures on these species that are already struggling with the impacts of climate change. Turning out the lights, being careful of your energy use, being careful and mindful of your plastic use. Things like that can make a really big difference. And then coming here, visiting the zoo, getting inspired by seeing our animals here.
That's incredible. So how often do you think you'll get updates from Alaska?
So we will get regular updates. All of the projects that we support, we have a reporting process, and they all provide wonderful reports to us, and we get to see the outcomes. But we're also in really regular contact with the leadership at the Sealife Center, and we also get to work really closely with the IUCN assessee experts who do the assessments and monitor many of these Arctic species. So we'll be keeping a very active eye on this project.
So is the next step to kind of update our map, put something over Alaska?
We will be updating the map, and we will be checking in with them regularly and sharing reports and images and updates and stories from them.
That's great to hear. Curly Palmer, thank you so much for meeting with us and telling us about this grant and the project and the good things that are about to come from the work that the zoo's helping fund around the world. Well, we're gonna go hang out with Aku and Ginger here in a little bit, so we are very excited. Thank you again. Still ahead, it's Christmas at the zoo. We're gonna let you know all the fun things that you can do with your family through the month of December. I love this time of year. It is Christmas at the zoo. I've been coming every year since I was a kid, and so many other Hoosier families. This is a tradition you have to do every December. I'm walking through this tunnel of lights, and there's so many cool Christmas lights. Of course, all the animals, and you can go to every inch of the zoo, and the lights are absolutely everywhere, not just here in the pavilion, but here at the pavilion, we do have a lot of Christmas trees, lots of lights over here to the side. Those are really cool to see. And I tell you what, walking around and seeing all these lights, really kind of working up an appetite. Good thing there are a lot of food options here at Christmas at the zoo. We have hopped on the foodie trail by Red Gold Tomatoes, and I tell you what, they make getting food here so much fun. There's actually these different stops along the trail. This is the first stop at the pavilion. This is the only place you can get the elf tater tots, but a lot of other places have other things like the eggnog parfait you've got to get. And there are more locations all the way to the other side of the zoo, over by the West Side Cafe where the alligators are, where you can get more unique items like the Grinch burger. You've got different stops, different food. It is so much fun and everything tastes delicious. Now that we've got some good food and us feeling pretty jolly, feeling good, it is time to meet the big man himself. We're gonna go inside Santa's Magic Cottage. When you bring your family, Mrs. Claus will meet you right here outside the front door. She'll take you in, but I wanna show you a quick sneak peek. All right, we have made it inside. There's a lot of cool artwork in here and a lot of animals. I bet Santa likes animals too. He's probably seen quite a few all the way around the world in his travels. We are just about there. Mrs. Claus will take you around one more corner and look at this. Over here. Santa's on the other side. But before we go over there, this is one of his magical keys. It's got a reindeer on it. He uses this key to get into the homes of children that may not have a chimney. And he's got more of them too. Look at all these, designed with an animal for different continents around the world. Okay, it's time. I'm gonna get my list. It's time to meet the big man himself. I'm so excited. All right, wish me luck. All right, he's got my list. Fingers crossed. You need to make sure Christmas at the Zoo is on your holiday schedule this year. It runs all the way through January 4th, and it's every single day, starting at 5 p.m. to close. And we love to see you here. Still ahead, it's our Meet the Resident segment. This one's gonna be a good one. We're gonna go inside the exhibit to see the walruses. All right, it's time. You've been waiting for it. It's our Meet the Resident segment. I'm with Ashley. You're one of the marine mammal trainers.
Yes.
Who do we have here today?
This is Aku. He'll give you guys a nice little wave.
Hi, buddy.
Good. He is an 8-year-old walrus, and he lives here at the Indianapolis Zoo along with his friend Ginger, who is also 8. He is a very special guy. We can tell him apart from Ginger because he's got these caps on his tusks.
Okay, yeah.
And he only has one eye. So
okay, yeah. Buddy.
that's one of the ways we tell him apart from Ginger.
So how did he get his name Aku?
So Aku is actually a rescued walrus. So he was born in Alaska. He was found on the barge of a gold mining barge. So that is how he got his name. Aku means stern of the boat in the Inupiaq language, yeah. So that is where he got his name from.
So then it must have been rescued.
Yes.
Okay.
So Aku was rescued by the Alaska Sealife Center. They are the only place in the United States or North America that can rescue and rehabilitate young walrus. They do not have the ability to house adult walrus. There are actually only 4 places in the United States that house Pacific walrus. So
And we're one of them.
we are one of them.
How crazy is that?
Yes. There are only 12 total as well. So Aku actually made his way. Before he came here, he went down to SeaWorld Orlando, where Ginger was born about the same time as him. So they are both 8 years old, and he did very well there. But due to breeding needs and other needs for our resident walrus, we do move them around every couple of years.
So his way saying hi, by the way.
Yes, they're very smell oriented. So he's just getting a smell. I had some gum earlier, so he's probably smelling that mint. So then they find a home for them. So he was chosen to be with Ginger. And since Ginger and him about the same age, they both moved here to the Indianapolis Zoo.
And so Ginger's behind us.
Yes,
That's Ginger.
yes, she's over there working with Mandy.
Hi, Ginger. Will they have walrus babies one day, you think?
We are hopeful.
Okay.
They're still a little bit young, so it may be a few years before we start to see that as a possibility for them, but that would be really great.
So he's thinking, hey, enough questions. I'm hungry. It's time to eat.
Yeah.
He has this suction noise that he does. How does he eat? What is he doing?
So walrus, even though they do have teeth in their mouths, I don't know if you guys can see that. They have tiny little teeth, and their tusks are also considered teeth. Those are considered overgrown canines, good, but they don't actually use them to eat. So they just slurp everything whole, and they have a really great suction ability. So if you want to hold your hand out, he's going to give you a little kiss on your hand.
Oh my goodness.
Smooch.
Hi, Aku.
So you can kind of hear that suction. And they have that natural ability to suck the clams out of the shells. So in the ocean, they are mostly going to be eating invertebrates, like sea slugs, as well as some clams and other mollusks. So these are
what are we feeding
already
him today?
shelled clams, but he's showing you that suction ability by sucking it right up. Aku, good. But he will also eat fish here at the zoo.
So how much food is he eating, and how many times does he eat?
So Aku gets fed 3 or 4 times a day, depending on our needs for the day, but he gets the same amount of 78 pounds currently.
Wow.
So Aku is just about to hit 2,000 pounds, but he is still growing. Adult male walrus can reach from anywhere to 3,000 to 4,000 pounds.
So he's just maybe a little over halfway.
Yes, just a little over halfway. He may get just to 3, but he may reach 4,000 when he's full grown. So yeah.
Okay, so what's his favorite, or does it not matter when it comes to the food?
It doesn't really matter. I think he enjoys all of them. We do capelin. That's one of the fish that he eats.
Okay.
They are those smaller ones. They actually have a good water content. So walrus do live in salt water. They cannot drink the water that they live in. However, they are mammals, and they do need water to stay hydrated, right? Good.
That's right.
So that capelin provides a lot of the hydration for them. It's about 90% water. And then our larger fish, like the herring, are what we call the meat and potatoes of the diet. That's got a lot of the calorie content.
So if he's not using his tusks necessarily to eat, what does he use his tusks for?
So in the wild, walrus would use those to pull themselves out onto the ice. So they are going to use these to just kind of almost like, I don't even know the word, but they'll just use it to kind of stick into the ice, and that'll help pull.
Like a mountain climber almost, maybe?
Yes, like almost like an ice pick, I guess is the word.
Okay, yeah.
So they'll use those to help pull their bodies up onto the ice.
Wow.
Yeah. They may also use them to protect their calves from predators, or males might use them to fight for females.
Okay. Do they have different personalities?
They absolutely do.
Do they?
Aku is a lot more of a laid-back guy. He's just happy to sit and eat and be comfortable.
Yeah.
Ginger usually is very interactive with her trainers and our guests, and she's always open to learning new things.
So right now we've got the sunshine.
Yes.
We're in the 40s right now. if he was going to make the 7-day forecast, what would he want on there?
You know, most people think walrus want it to be cold and icy.
Right.
Aku, actually living here in the warm summers, we are outside in Indiana, you know, we get all sorts of weather here.
Sure.
He actually enjoys sunbathing.
Really?
So I think like a perfect 70-degree day would be perfect for him.
No way.
He does enjoy laying out here on the ground, just sunbathing and getting warm.
Great
so
spot out here.
he does like to play in the snow when we do get it, but
Okay.
I think he'd prefer the warmth sometimes.
So on a walrus with their blubber, we were talking earlier that it keeps him warm. Do you notice the blubber change throughout the year because of our seasons changing?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Our summers and winters, since we do have varying temperatures, they stay pretty consistent. They also live in the water mostly. They spend a lot of their time swimming, and our pools are kept at the same degrees, about 50 to 54 degrees. So that kind of helps keep their body temperature around the same. So that is one way we help keep them warm in the winters, but also cool in the summers.
So just growing up here in Indiana, coming to the zoo as a kid, I mean, just remember sitting out there, watching the walruses. Is there a certain time of day that they're most active?
I would say probably the middle of the day.
Middle of the day.
Morning, early in the morning, they are usually hauled out on the land, getting dry and warm, and they sleep on the land a lot of times. But during the day, they might be interacting with their toys, they might be interacting with guests at the glass. And then once the sun starts to go down, they may start to go to bed. So they'll haul out, they'll let their bodies get all dry and fuzzy.
So this does dry off, I guess, completely when...
Yes, yeah, so their hair almost sticks up like peach fuzz when they're dry.
No way.
So yeah, they'll get fuzzy and warm.
And so when he swims, is it fun for him? Is it playtime? What's it like? Oh,
What's your tongue?
there's your tongue.
Good. It just depends. So
Okay.
Aku really enjoys interacting with his enrichment. We have a large variety of enrichment items for him. So if you're a zoo goer, you might know the tapping sound that he makes on his toys. The giant balls that he plays with, or we call those planet balls, those are his absolute favorite. So he'll spend a lot of time
you don't have food.
interacting with that enrichment while he's swimming around.
Oh, I see. I love how you guys are always focused on enrichment for these
Yes.
animals. Why is that important?
So being in human care, they are not spending their days foraging for food as they would in the wild. So walrus would spend the majority of their days a week foraging on the ocean floor for the fish and the clams that they need to eat. However, they're getting it fed to them here. So they spend, that's what they would do in the wild. They spend a lot of their time looking for food. So we offer a lot of types of enrichment here. I know, buddy. To vary their day. So just to keep things interesting for them, they are very intelligent animals. So by us offering different types of enrichment such as toys, our training sessions are enriching for them. Can you show a wave? There you go.
Hey, Aku.
Flex. Good.
Oh, wow. Show his muscles.
It allows us to vary their days and keep them mentally and physically stimulated.
Can they swim pretty fast?
These guys can only get to about, I think it's about 20 miles an hour in the water. So they don't get super fast, but they don't really need to because they're not really normally chasing fish. They're gonna look for some slower items, right? Good.
How long did it take to kind of learn some of these interactions and tricks that he's doing?
So we have lots of trained behaviors with them,
Okay.
and these are that form of enrichment.
Yeah.
We do some fun behaviors. We train husbandry behaviors as well. So those are to help them participate in their own veterinary care. So Aku is trained for us to do tusk impressions. So if you were to go to the dentist and get a crown put on, you have to have that goo put in your mouth. It's kind of the same thing for his caps on his tusks. So he has these to protect his tusks from cracking.
Okay.
So he is trained for us to put the solution that you would use at the dentist. He's trained for us to put those on. They're trained for blood collection. We do measurements and weights on them. So these are all ways that help them participate in their own care.
Often does he have to go to the veterinary or the dentist, or does he have his own dentist?
He doesn't have his own dentist, but our vet staff here at the zoo come down and they will do practices with us as well. We'll do x-rays to see what's going on inside and ultrasounds. And it's usually as needed, but we will also do a couple times a year they'll come down and do all the tests they need to do to make sure they are happy, healthy, and growing.
Sure.
Thank you.
What would be maybe one of the biggest questions that a lot of kids ask? I mean, your most asked question?
Usually they want to know how big they get.
Yeah.
So, or how big they are now. So Aku is just under 2,000 pounds, but he could double in size.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yes.
If he could speak, what do you think he's saying right now? What do you want to tell you?
He's probably like, feed me faster.
That's right. You got a whole bucket here. How awesome. How is it to be training one of the few walruses that we even have in the United States?
It is very, we are very fortunate to have them. So Aku and Ginger are 2 of only 12 walruses in North America, zoos and aquariums. So we are very fortunate to have them as part of our marine mammal family here.
Wonderful. You were talking a little bit earlier about the glass, the famous glass that we all come to
Yes.
when we're at the zoo. I was going to ask you, what does the walrus say? Like, what does the fox say? What does the walrus say? But you can hear sometimes them make noises. But I want to ask, over by the glass, do they like when folks are kind of looking at them?
I think so.
Okay.
That would be something enriching for them to see all the different guests. Sometimes even when we're not busy, we'll take some visual enrichment down there. So we'll have some different lights or sticky toys for the glass. So they usually enjoy looking at those things. Yeah.
Okay, so we have some of the food.
Yes.
What are we about to feed him?
We are going to feed him clams and capelin.
Okay.
So I'll have you go ahead and just
How do you
hand
do
this
this?
to him. So you'll
Okay.
just hand it to him and he'll slurp it right out of your hand.
Just that easy.
Yep.
Okay.
They're
right.
pretty easy. All right. Here you go,
Here,
Aku. Good job, buddy.
Wow. He just sucked that right up.
Yes, he does.
No problem at all?
Nope.
That's cool. Show it off. So can you tell when he gets full, or could he just keep eating and eating?
He does actually get a little burpy when he's getting full. Yep. Yep.
Aw.
See your flipper?
Hey, buddy.
Good.
Awesome. Well, this has been so much fun. We've all been wanting to meet the walrus, and it's so cool that we have one of the few walruses right here in Indiana. Ashley,
It's so cool.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much. Aku, you've been great too. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for joining us here on Inside the Indianapolis Zoo. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll be back next month. We'll see you next time.